Friends, today I'll be talking about a disturbing case of child abuse. Alexis Avila is a 19-year-old New Mexico mother. She was convicted of attempted first degree murder and child abuse resulting in great bodily harm. She was on trial on accusations that she threw a newborn baby in the trash. This incident took place on August the 17th, 2021. Yeah, you heard that correctly. She gave birth and she threw the baby away. You silly cow, what if I locked you in a room and threw away the key? How would you feel? See, Alexis was accused of leaving her newborn baby in a dumpster. The baby was discovered by a passerby and was rushed to the hospital. During the investigation, it was revealed that Alexis had taken a pregnancy test in April of the same year, but she did not seek medical help or support during her pregnancy. This case has been the subject of much debate and discussion, and in my opinion, there's nothing to debate, there's nothing to discuss. Throw away in jail, lock away the key. People have shared their opinions and comments on social media and other platforms. Alexis is asking for a new county and potential different pool of jurors for her case. In a motion filed earlier this month, Avila's attorney was asking for a change of venue for the case, partly arguing indications that a large number of jurors have already indicated prejudice. You see, the problem here, and I'm sure you've heard it in other cases, when you have a high profile case, so to speak, right, and then you pick out a jury, that jury, because of all the media hoo ha, that jury could be mentally affected by all the noise, that they won't be able to give a impartial judgment when it comes to the case. In other words, the prosecution believes the jury is going to be biased because of media influence. And whenever I've read this in other cases that I've covered, it's the same old response. Well, if you stop fucking around, you wouldn't be in this position with the jury, would you, you silly moron? Avila's attorney wanted the case moved out of the 5th Judicial District Court, which includes Lee, Shaves, and Eddy counties. She also believed jurors within the 9th Judicial District Court, Roosevelt County, may also be affected by extensive media coverage. Again, there'd be no media coverage if you didn't do it. In preparation for the case, Avila's defense claimed it submitted more than 150 potential juror questionnaires to the public in November. Of those questionnaires, only 47 potential jurors said they saw information about the incident but felt they could be impartial. So more than half admit that, well, they're going to have some biases against her. The trial began in early April, and Avila took the stand for the first time last Thursday. On Monday, the jury was seated, the court heard the opening arguments, and witness testimony began. Opening statements only took up roughly 20 minutes of the 4 hours that the jury selection process took. Prosecutors quickly outlined what the witness testimony and video will show, including the black bag Avila put the baby in, the 3 trash drivers who recovered the infant, and Avila's own admission of giving birth. Tuesday afternoon, the state immediately began using witness testimony and video evidence. First, they called Joe Imbrale, the proprietor of the Hobbs firm that had captured Avila on camera, to the witness stand. The state showed various perspectives from the security camera footage, including the moment trash drivers discovered the infant and the moment emergency responders arrived. The 3 dumpster drivers also gave testimony on Monday in the afternoon, detailing how they discovered the infant, the temperature that night, and their 911 call. For the jury, the state played the whole 911 call. The Hobbs Fire Department's EMS specialist who responded that evening was the final eyewitness. He detailed how they cared for the infant as he was one of the first to do so that evening. In response, Avila's defense counsel stated that they anticipate the evidence to support the state's allegations. Even they know she's fucked. But what distinguishes them is how they view the evidence. At the conclusion of the case, the defense asked the jurors to hold Avila responsible for her conduct rather than the crimes she is being accused of. This Friday just gone, closing arguments were heard. She was found guilty, and I believe on May the 1st is her sentencing hearing. The reason for her conviction is truly shocking and heartbreaking, as leading investigations showed all that transpired after being cut on CCTV footage. The 5th Judicial District Attorney Diana Luce claims that Avila drove her newborn baby behind the Broadmoor Mall in Hobbs, threw him into a dumpster after wrapping him in numerous plastic bags filled with trash. The incident, as I mentioned, was caught on camera, and the footage is truly disturbing. It shows Avila pulling up to the dumpster in her car, opening the trunk, and tossing the bag containing the baby into the dumpster before driving away. Trash. She saw the baby as trash. All she had to do during her pregnancy. I mean, have you not figured it out yet? Have you not realized why this happened? She got pregnant accidentally. She was too ashamed to tell anyone. So she just ignored it, gave birth, threw it away because she was too young and, what's the word, immature and inexperienced to deal with it. She just wanted to throw it away and never look at it ever again. All she had to do was tell someone. Tell her parents, tell the father, who I'm coming on to, or the local authorities. They could have taken the baby away or seeked help. And in today's world, you got the entire internet to help you. But it was shame. It was shame that made her do this. The case itself has left many people wondering why someone would commit such a heinous act. On the other hand, the defense argued that Alexis had no intentions of harming her baby. They claimed that Alexis suffered from blackouts and memory loss, which made her unaware of what happened to her baby. Well, that's convenient, isn't it? According to the defense, the baby's death was not deliberate but rather a tragic accident. However, the prosecutor strongly opposed this claim, saying that Alexis had plenty of time to seek medical help and support during her pregnancy. The prosecutor argued that Alexis' blackouts became a convenient story to escape the charges of murder. While we cannot know for sure what was going through Avila's mind at the time, it is clear that she was struggling with her mental health. The defense also called Avila's psychologist to the stand, who testified she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She stated the hormonal changes Avila was going through while pregnant could have amplified her underlying mood disorder, and she could not state the exact thing going on with her that allowed her to engage in such a heinous act. I already told you, she was too ashamed to tell anyone. Thankfully, the baby was discovered by a maintenance worker who heard his cries coming from the dumpster. The worker quickly called the police and the baby was taken to a hospital for treatment. Medical staff testified that the newborn suffered from hypothermia, severe anemia, and kidney problems, among other issues, after being abandoned and left in 40-degree temperatures for more than 6 hours. You ever been in 40-degree temperature? Y'all can do the Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion. But on my balcony, late at night, sometimes, I'm playing video games. And the reason why I'm on my balcony playing video games, freezing my tits off, is because I'm smoking a little something something. Psych, it's just hookah flavored tobacco. But I can assure you, I am actually freezing my tits off. So it is truly a miracle that the baby survived the ordeal. In the time of her arraignment, she has since asked for visitation with her son, who is named Saul, but Judge William Shoebridge turned down her request. He responded to the request by saying he'll know for a lifetime the actions you took, that you tried to terminate his life, which is quite a cold line. Think about it. You tried to terminate his life. And when he's older, as messed up as this sound, he may watch this video and he may think, what the fuck? According to her family, she had been dealing with depression and anxiety for some time and had not received the help she needed. Avila faces 18 years in prison but could serve less time at the judge's discretion. She will remain on house arrest until that day. Prosecutors requested Avila be held in jail until sentencing. However, the judge denied revoking her conditions of release, saying May the 1st isn't far away and Avila has complied with all the conditions since he set them. Following further reviews, Avila's ex-boyfriend, who is the father of the baby, is reportedly devastated by what happened and wants to be a part of his son's life. His father has stated that their family is seeking custody of the baby and is willing to provide a loving and stable home for him. Oscar Astorga said his 16-year-old son, Stephen, had no idea his ex-girlfriend Avila was pregnant and was caught abandoning her child in a dumpster. Now, Astorga says his family wants custody. Astorga went on to say, of course we're trying to get custody. Of course. He's my grandson. That's why we can't comment on anything, because we're trying to get my grandson. Astorga said that since the video went viral, he and his family have been receiving death threats. He said, "There's a lot of people on social media that have been sending death threats to our family. We haven't done anything wrong." He said his family has nothing to hide, but they can't comment on the situation at this moment. Now, this development raises important questions about the well being of the baby and what is in his best interests. While it is understandable that Avila's ex boyfriend and the family want to be involved in the baby's life, it is important to consider the potential impact on the child's emotional and psychological development. Is there such a thing as being too young to feel trauma? Or too young to feel jaded? Let me know. The baby has already experienced significant trauma, and it is important that any decisions made about his care prioritize his safety and well being above all else. It is important to note that postpartum depression is a real and serious condition that affects many new mothers. It can cause feelings of sadness, anxiety, and exhaustion, and in severe cases, it can lead to thoughts of self harm or harm of the baby. It is essential that new mothers receive support and treatment for this condition to ensure the safety of both themselves and their baby. However, I don't think postpartum applies in this case. I could be wrong. Postpartum is something that happens weeks, days, months after the birth. In her case, the day of, she got rid of the baby, and well, I mean, there was no postpartum period for us to consider postpartum because she had already done it before, I guess, postpartum kicked in. Avila's actions were not only inexcusable but also illegal. Attempted first degree murder and child abuse resulting in great bodily harm are both serious crimes that carry severe penalties. Avila will likely face a lengthy prison sentence for her actions. Although the case of Alexis Avila has taken a new turn, as the father of her ex boyfriend has stated that the family does want custody, while this development raises important questions about the well being of the child, it also highlighted the broader issue of teenage pregnancy and the need for comprehensive sex education, contraception, and support services for young people. That bit there, I just read out for you. I read it in a newspaper, right? Bullshit. I'm sorry, bullshit. Let's take the sex education angle, right? Listen to what I'm about to tell you. If you are unaware that contraception is available and you can use it to prevent teenage pregnancies, fair enough. If you don't know, you don't know. That's fine. But that's not the problem here. Accidental pregnancy, that's not the problem. It happens. The problem was she was too scared and too shameful to do something about it. And in cases like Avila's, they are not uncommon, particularly among teenage mothers. Teenage pregnancy is a serious issue in the United States, with an estimated 194,000 babies born to teenage mothers in 2020 alone. This incident also highlighted the importance of safe haven laws, which allows mothers to safely surrender their newborn babies without fear of prosecution. Under these laws, mothers can leave their babies at designated locations such as hospitals or fire stations without facing any legal consequences. This option is a much safer alternative to abandoning or harming the baby. Many people have given their opinion on this story. Many people are outraged by the alleged actions of Alexis. They feel that leaving a newborn baby to die in a dumpster is an unforgivable act. Some commentators have even called for harsh punishments, such as life imprisonment or the death penalty. On the other hand, there are also those who believe that Alexis should not be held fully responsible for her actions. Again, that to me is bullshit. They argue that her blackouts and memory loss may have contributed to her decision to leave the baby in the dumpster. Some commenters have even suggested that she should receive psychiatric help instead of prison time. Maybe, maybe. That's a fair request. Maybe. There are also those who are calling for more support and resources for pregnant women and new mothers. They feel that Alexis may have been struggling and may not have had the necessary support to care for her baby. Some people have suggested that better access to healthcare and counseling could prevent tragedies like this from happening. And also, some people express shock and horror at the severity of charges against a young mother, while others believe that she deserves to be held accountable for her actions. Many people sympathize with Avila, citing her difficult background and challenging circumstances as a young mother. Some argue that she may have been struggling with mental health issues or experiencing trauma, which could have contributed to her actions. Additionally, some argue that the criminal justice system is too harsh on young mothers who may be facing challenging pressures and difficult for others to understand. Now, the reason why it's bullshit is because, yes, blah, 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 sex education, contraception, education, support systems, all that stuff, yes. But that's not why this happened. This happened because a female, a girl, a young girl, a naive girl, inexperienced, obviously a scared girl. I'm not dismissing any of that, but she just didn't tell anyone. That's all it was. It was a lack of communication. Yes, shame, ego, all that stuff. All she had to do was tell her mother or her father because they may have been annoyed, they may have been pissed off or whatever, but eventually they would have done what they could to help her. And it's interesting how in some cases people make there's a number of decisions they can make, right? Have birth, an abortion, tell your boyfriend, tell your father, tell your mother, tell your grandmother, tell your sister. There's a number of things. Tell child protective services, I don't know, tell a doctor, whatever. She chose the worst possible decision available. But when I was 16, I had no idea what I was doing. Most of the time, I was just jerking off into a sock. And from a man point of view, if I had got a girl pregnant at 16, I would have told my father and he would have beat the shit out of me. Would I have been a competent father at 16? Probably not. But an incompetent father is a better scenario than murder. A scared, inexperienced mother is a better scenario than murder. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an expert when it comes to sentencing. 24 years, however many years it is, I don't know. You guys can decide how long she should get. But there'll come a day where Saul is going to approach her and he's going to ask her, "Why, mom? Why?" And I genuinely hope, for the sake of their relationship, she explains and he understands and he forgives her. I genuinely do. Anyway, comment, tell me what you think.